Hey everybody, it's Wes, aka Joe Hunter 73, and we're going to be doing another Blueprints video today. And today we're going to be looking at the 1983 blueprints that I have on hand. One of these is my original. You'll be able to tell which one. I don't have all blueprints from 1983, but I got a few, and I hope you all enjoyed my last one from 1982. And in fact, let's go to the G.I. Joe's viewer mail call from that past video. And we'll be right back.
Don't make me come over there and snatch you up off that couch. It's time for mail call.
Hey everybody, it's viewers mail call. And today, this goes back to the 1982 blueprint video I did. Again, thank you for putting comments in here. And it's just something I like to do, is go through and read them on my channel. And I think it goes back to when I was a kid. There was a television show I would watch after I would get home from school. And it was a local one of those little low production local shows out of your major, wherever your local news network came out of. But they would do a couple of children's programs, and they would, you would write into the show and they would read those letters on the TV with your name and everything. And they even did a Christmas show. For years and years, they would do a Christmas show. They'd do the same thing, and it was the same person, but just dressed up in Santa. And you would send in a picture with one of your letters, and they would go through and show your pictures on TV. I'm talking, this is like early 80s, like probably, right in the wheelhouse when I was getting into G.I. Joe, and probably still even earlier than that. So, yeah, that's why I like to do this, give you guys, for everyone that comments, a shout out on here. So again, thank you very much. And let's get into it. Power Gen 5150, great Van Halen album. The first introduction of Sammy Hagar. Van Hagar. Okay, anyway. Wow, this is so cool. I love blueprints as well. I'm so glad you are doing these. No one talks about this stuff from our childhood, and I'm glad that you are. Brings back a lot of memories. Hey, thanks, Power Gen 5150. Really appreciate it. Yeah, catalogs, blueprints, these were all great when we got them as kids, and it just added that much more value to that vehicle or playset that we got when we pulled that stuff out of the box to put it together. And, yeah, it was really cool. I don't think anyone did it better than G.I. Joe. So anyway, I digress. If you hear some whining and noises in the background, it's my dog. So I apologize. Hey, Lilith. Blueprints, the memories. I used to keep my in a binder under my bed. That's a good idea. I keep mine folded up right now in a tote. I have no idea how I kept mine all these years, the ones that I still have. But I have, whether it be a cardboard box or inside of a book. I don't know. Let's see. My grandma got me a recipe box holding the cards. Yep, that's another good idea. Keeping the flag points and that stuff. Let's see. I used to get Grandma's Nurse photography covers to Joe Comics. Oh, that's a good idea too. The debate between Silver and Red Pad Grand Slam. So yeah, reading this comic, Lilith, at the very bottom of in here, the Red Pad Grand Slam is first year jump box is harder to find. That's because I'm 99% sure there's not a Red Pads Grand Slam that came with the MMS. If I remember what Toy Connection said, Ken, on that. So it's really, really hard to find. Danny Ice Cable. Oh, and thanks for the comment, Lila. Appreciate it. Alpha One Creative, another great video. I love blueprints and how it made you feel like you were actually building an important piece of your Joe team. Nostalgic overload for me on this one. Thanks a lot, Alpha One. Yeah, man, it's these were little like very beginner model kits. So yeah, Toy Connection, the wall of posters is epic. Thanks, Ken. So in the video, on this video here that I'm talking about, I had to kind of pan up because I was trying to find my Jump playset box on the posters I have from 3D Joe's. So yeah, the posters make my office really great. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate you watching. Peter Malone, 5555. I have no surviving paperwork for my childhood Joes. However, I bought a new box in 2011, Cobra Ice Cutter, and had a nice insert. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I will share it to the pit. Yeah, man, put it on there. I think I actually went and saw that. Collecting today, I reprint a blue print. Man, that's hard to say. For every vehicle I buy, rebuild it. It's another layer of fun. Great video. Hey, thanks, Peter. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Great video. Love these videos. Hey, thank you, G.I. Joe Features. Appreciate it, man. Casey, podcast from the pit. Great job, buddy. Love hearing childhood stories. Yes, sir. Yes. Hillbilly. Eric Hoppa. Man, I love these. The blueprints were so cool. I'm trying to start getting them again. I have a few in the small collection. I have the Havoc. Of course you do, because that is Hillbilly Harper's favorite vehicle, if I'm not mistaken. The Ram and the Pogo. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Hillbilly. Appreciate it, Eric. Another comment from Ken. The MMS is so awesome. Oddly, a standard 1982 is the one I don't have. Somehow I have the red Sears one, the Action Force one, but no 82, 83. Oh, you have the harder ones to get. And yeah, I didn't realize for the longest time that the vehicles were made directly around Rhode Island, though later on they started importing some of the specific parts from China, like the electronics from the 1990 General, then packaged in the same. There's some text in the Carsons. Yep, there is. Thanks for that knowledge drop, Ken. Really appreciate it. Whoa. What happened? There we go. The jetpack sure got a lot of use in the cartoon, but I can't recall if the launch pad ever made an appearance. No, I don't recall the launch pad ever being there. The flak, the whirlwind, those 80, well, the whirlwind was 83. But the flat, but yeah, even the MMS, I don't recall ever seeing in the cartoon. I don't recall seeing the HAL in the cartoon. So anyway, Zazel, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Oh my God, it's Ronnie Trickshot. And he says, oh my God. Did you say that you have a silver pads? I do. Yeah, I do have a silver pads. You need to show that guy off in a video, bro. I will. Give me some time, Ronnie. I'll do it. Yeah, and I went down to a toy fair, a little toy fair in San Antonio this last weekend, and I didn't get my hands on anything I wanted G.I. Joe. So, Yorktown Joe, thanks for the Ronnie Trickshot. Thank you for the comment, sir. Yorktown Joe. Check out Yorktown Joe's YouTube channel. He does some really good reviews on his classifieds as well as originals in very shorts on YouTube, and they're really good. So props to you, Yorktown. I had the non-silver pads jump with no figure. I can't remember if I used the straight arm flash or Grand Slam to fly in. The 82 art definitely had the red pads version on the earliest non-figured version. That's correct. The 82 jump had had red pads Grand Slam, not Flash, but I think it's Grand Slam. And then 83 came out and had the silver pads. But 83 had the figure. 82 did not come with the figure. So the debate continues. Why does it keep... All right, this is done. So thank you again for all your comments. Oh, he put something else here. I might not have the whole box, but I might have saved the front box. Yes, and you did send that stuff to me, Yorktown, and I appreciate it. That's really cool. So Yorktown, his box collection, it's not the entire box, it's the front of the box. But hey, he still has it, which is cool. Yeah, it's not the entire box, but the front's what counts. I mean, it would be nice to have the entire box, but hey, space is a virtue of necessity sometimes. So anyway, appreciate the comment, Yorktown. Appreciate all the comments. Thank you very much. Let's get back to 1983 blueprints. Alrighty, Roo. We are back. And again, thank you for leaving those comments in the chat on my last video there. And I just want to say thank you for doing that. Sharing your memories and everything. I really appreciate it. It's what this is all about. Just like in my catalog videos, sharing our memories on how we really discovered and cherished this hobby, I guess, as a child that we had, and reliving those memories. So let's get into it. It's 1983, the second year of G.I. Joe. It was probably the first full year I got into G.I. Joe. I'm not sure when I got my Short Fuse figure. He was my first. And I really want to say it was an 82 straight arm version of Short Fuse, because I really don't remember him being able to really articulate his hand or his arm all that well with that mortar in his arm, but it was a lot better than what Star Wars could do with their weapons. So anyway, I digress. Let's get into it. It's blueprint time, and we're going to start off with the Pack Rat. And I did have one of these Pack Rats as a child, and this is the one that I actually had. I was a big fan of the Pack Rat. I did really like these missiles, and this is the only Pack Rat that I had. And as I just didn't really. I don't know if I didn't see any more that when I was shopping or when I was with my parents or grandparents, when I was out in the stores, or maybe I just went ahead and got a figure instead of getting the other Pack Rats. I really did want the flamethrower and the machine gun Pack Rats because I thought they were pretty cool. And I chose this one just because I liked the missiles and I liked the little miniature tank that it came with. So let's take a look at the blueprints on this guy. So real quick, we're going to get into it, and this is the instructions, and it shows you that it came on a little tree or sprue that you would have to pop off, and it tells you all what it came with right here. Track half, wheels, console, chassis, turret. I need Hillbilly Harper to say turret. Missile tree, another turret, front half, missile back, missile front what? Stage, okay. And the remote control. Who remembers the remote control? Where is the remote control on here? Is that number 10? I'm not sure if I ever recall when I was a kid if I remember seeing that remote control. I don't remember using it really all that much. So, yeah, it's interesting. Might have gone lost. like a lot of these things happened back in the day. So it tells you what you get on your tree, your sprue tree, and then it tells you basically how to put it together. Again, another great thing with G.I. Joe, not just the catalog when you got a vehicle or an aircraft or the playset, you get the instructions on how to put it together. They're miniature models. And yeah, it was, this one was a real simple one to put together. I want to say I got this in 1984 is when I got the Pack Rat. Yeah, I remember it being more in 84, closer to 85. So they were still in stores at the time. So if you notice, the missile did have a detachment. If you recall my video from the DFW toy show when I got my 1984 Stinger, the Cobra Stinger, and the box art on that Stinger has these missiles on the box art. So I'm going to say, as a kid, I probably intermixed those missiles, changed them out with these missiles on here. So put them on my Stinger. Oh, look at that. It's almost, maybe it is just the Firefly's phone. I wonder if that's it. I'll have to look into that. Put it in the comments if you know the answer to that. And then we get the sticker placement sheet here. And then the favorite part of the blueprints, of course, is, yeah, my favorite part anyway, is just the way it was all laid out. They even have the remote control. Yep. Profile, top, and front or back view. Not sure which one that is. So, yeah, pretty cool looking. We get the twin stage boosted missile number 1. Twin stage right there. Number 2 is going to be the missile support plates, turret rotation, elevation system, drive system, air intake, drive system, exhaust, engine coolant, all-terrain track, 4-point drive, bogey system. Number 8. Where's number 8? Okay. You got the bogey system. Okie dokie. Whatever that is. That's another thing. Just some of the terminology that the people at Hasbro came up to make some of this stuff up. I mean, a lot of the times they did use real world technology and put it in place. And they changed some of the terminology on it, I'm sure. Let's see, missile pre-programmer, elevation drive housing, radio receiver, temperature sensor, radio receiver. Huh. Number 12. Not much there. Just a... And then track guides, emergency auto programming controls, and remote control activator. So, yeah, here's that look of the Pack Rat missile launcher. Really cool looking. And, yeah. All right. Whew. The snake. There's something different that I noticed on the snake instructions. I never had the snake blueprints when I was a kid. Actually, I don't think I really purchased one. I remember exchanging one in a trade with a fellow friend of mine when I was a kid. You know, we would make trades or share it for a couple of weeks until we saw each other again, and then give each other back what we exchanged. But I noticed this before doing this video, is that this one here kind of goes into its own file card. Instead of on the box, it's kind of all implemented right here. So, snake instructions, system neutralizer, armored cloaking with a K, equipment, a Cobra command weapon, designed by Destro and his scientist at Mars Military Armament Research System, Snake is a powerful form of battle armor. It protects Cobra soldiers from G.I. Joe because its heavy armor plating repels bullets and explosive blasts. When captured, G.I. Joes are placed inside the Snake. Its powerful sensors easily brainwash them into thinking and acting like Cobras. Remove the backpack from your figure before you put him into the Snake. That's funny. Note, apply labels before Snake assembly. So I never knew this as a kid that this was here because I never had the blueprints to it. So it kind of tells you how to play with the Snake. And, you know, we did see it in, what was the cartoon? It was the Sunbow animated cartoon. I just can't think of the title of the cartoon. It might have been in one of the mini series that we got. But, and it wasn't Cobra Claws or Coming to Town. They were there in that one, but they were just acting as robots because that was one of the few times that G.I. Joe's lasers actually hit the bad guys, hit the Cobras and destroyed them. And Duke then took the butt of his gun and smashed it into the eyeglass of the Snake. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. And then it just kind of tells you on how to assemble it. Follow the instructions and remove the Snake piece as needed from the runners, and it may be necessary, blah, 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 blah. So there, it's kind of cool how it shows the Cobra Trooper on how you're supposed to fit him in there. So that's kind of cool. And there we go. Armor back. The rubber stand. Let's see if it says anything about the rubber stand. Bend elbows, press armor. No, I don't think it does. I thought it did somewhere. No, weapons are interchangeable and weapon connectors. To store your Snake, use the rubber stand provided. Follow the steps above to assemble a Snake. Okay, there it talks about it. So yeah, the rubber stand is basically just to when you don't have a figure in there, which most of the time, why would you put it? You know, you can imagine that there's a figure in there because when you put a figure in there, especially if it's a Cobra figure, then you're one less figure that you could use on the battlefield. You can imagine that there's a trooper in there, but honestly, my headcanon, even when I was a kid, when I did have this, I played with it like it was a robot. Nobody was in there. It was a robot. Very indestructible type of robot. Now, it was slow moving, so, you know, there's that. And then we got the sticker replacement. Really cool how the sensors and the control panels and everything, how they show it going in the front and the back. Yeah, really cool. Really cool. I actually liked the Snake when I was a kid. Thought it was a really menacing looking, very intimidating robot. All right. Here we go. And here's the layout of it. Similar to the Pack Rat, how it's folded out this way. So, really great look of the detail of the diagram of the Snake. You got the front view, the profile, the back, and then the inside of it, which we already were seeing that on the instruction panel. So yeah, really cool looking. Yeah, as a kid, I just loved these blueprints. Just the detail, the way they were drawn, and then you can put a piece of paper over it and trace it yourself. And if you do it long enough, like I did as a kid, you trace and trace and trace many times. You kind of get the mechanics to where you wouldn't have to do it. You can then go to freehand and do it. And that's what I did. I think I mentioned that in my last video. You know, when you get bored at school or something, that's what I did. So, yep, anti-missile armor plating, bulletproof viewing, windshield, communication interference, oxygen canister, And it goes on. So then it talks about the remote claw, remote flamethrower, remote machine gun arm, and remote rocket. So really cool. Which armament did you have on your snake? Did you have the claw and the missile, the claw and the machine gun arm? And I always like the claw and the machine gun arm, I have to say. The flamethrower kind of looked funny. I want to say that's the machine gun. 12 weapon connectors. No, 18. 18. Yeah, 18 is a machine gun. 17 is the flamethrower. So yeah, the flamethrower looked more like a like it would be like a cannon. Because I don't know. How did you play with your snake? The missile was just a little bit too. I mean, boom, you're done. It's one shot, and hope it did well, and then you're just stuck with the arm. So, yeah, just like the bats, I always like that claw on the bat trooper, the claw or the flamethrower itself. All right, let's get on to. Got two more. Now, this is my original Hiss blueprints from 1983. Really cool. You could see it's very, very thin now. But yeah, and it's got a little rip. I need to put some tape on that maybe. You should do that, Wes. So interesting enough that the top of the instructions are your sticker placements instead of at the bottom. So yeah, it's got some water damage. There's some water stains on here. 43, 42 years old. So it's going to have that. But still pretty good shape. But yeah, this was a real piece of cake to put together. I mean, basically, these two were separated. That was really it. You just got to put the cannon on the gun slide, and then snap that into place into the turret and the console, and then the windshield. That was pretty much it. And now, how did you play with your Hiss? Did you ever take the turret out and put figures in there? I can't remember who I've heard that did that, because I did that as well. And it was kind of hard to get them out. And you wanted to make sure that you never put a figure in there with any of their weapons or a backpack, because then it was really kind of tricky to get those out. You'd have to, shake it upside down and stuff. But I played it after seeing the movie, the TV miniseries. Was it a TV miniseries? It was V, which stood for Visitors. But who remembers the movie V and their little shuttles that they would fly around the city of LA? And they had a smaller shuttle, they had a bigger shuttle to carry more troops, and they had a smaller one just to kind of ferry people back and forth from their main spaceship down to the planet. But I would always take the tracks off and just use the top part, just like that, as the spaceship. Just used my imagination, and because at the time I didn't have anything in Cobra that had any, I didn't have a Cobra Air Force yet. I didn't have the Rattler. I didn't have a Fang yet. So, yeah, I used my imagination. I would keep the turn on, and because that would, provide some offense that way. And, yeah, battle that out with my Dragonfly. But majority of the time, I kept the treads on. And looking at the back of this, the main view, that is just so cool looking. I always loved looking at that. Imagine that coming head on. Really good profile view over top view of that. High speed Century, yeah. The good old Hiss. Classic Hiss. And yeah, it's yep, it was classic, all right. And there was something it said about the figure down here. Let's see. Seat the Cobra Hiss driver as shown. You can pose 2 more figures on the 2. Okay, it's just talking about putting the figures on the back where the foot pegs are. This is probably one of the few vehicles that they were safe behind the vehicle on the foot pegs because there wasn't any like the Stinger had you place your 2 Cobra Troopers or whatever there on the back of the Stinger, and right behind those rockets, yeah, your face is going to get blown off. But the Hiss, yeah, you put them right here, they're not in any danger at all. So, but yeah, loved the Hiss. I still have my original Hiss. It is, went through some phases when I was a teenager, when I was building model airplanes. And let's just say I put several coats of paint on it. Enamel, oil-based paint, testers. And yeah, that stuff's not coming off. But yeah. Original Hiss, my original Hiss blueprints. All right, last one. I don't know what happened to it. This is not my original. I thought I had my original Dragonfly blueprints. I got these not too long ago, about a month before Joe Fest, I want to say, a month or 2 before Joe Fest. So either in April or May. I picked up from a box. It was just an empty box. And even though I don't collect boxes, I got a Dragonfly box and had the set of blueprints in it. So by one Kingpin Toys on Instagram. He's a local toy collector and seller. He goes around and sells, picks up a bunch of stuff from flea markets and fairs and whatnot, and then posts a bunch of them on his Instagram page to sell. Real good guy. So shout out to you, Kingpin Toys. Kingpin Toys. And all right, Assault Copter Dragonfly XH1 instructions. So yeah, this one was a little bit more intricate to put together. The main fuselage was already together, which was good. You just had to put in the seats, the nose. It's funny that the nose, like, why would the nose not be on there already? But, and then the canopy, the wings on the Dragonfly. Then you got your engine exhaust and engine cover. I did always pretend with the engine exhaust when I got this, because Airwolf was already out on TV at the time, that my Dragonfly, I don't know if I ever really made it go, like, technically if it could go supersonic like Airwolf could, but I did play, the play feature on that was sometimes that would give it a boost. So then your little slide button to trigger the blades. Here you got the winch and the hook, landing struts with the foot pegs, your missiles, your gun that goes on the landing struts, the rubber tips that go on the blade, and then your sticker placements. So I do remember having a lot of fun putting the stickers on my Dragonfly. And as a kid, I could see these a lot better. As an adult, it's really hard to see. I'm getting a better view of it through the my camera here. But yeah, that's a really cool bird's eye view of the dragonfly there. Really cool looking. Yep. All right. Look at that thing. That is so cool. So here we got the overhead view, the profile, and the front view of the dragonfly. And if you notice the chin gun here with the grenade launcher and the it's a 25 millimeter Gatling gun, Vulcan Gatling gun. The one I had as a kid, I didn't have the one where they could move independently, is what I was trying to say. Mine were just the static ones. My current Dragonfly, which I bought back in 2019, or early part of 2020, it came with both. And one's not more than the other. From the last time I could really tell on the marketplace, it's not that odd for one to have a pivoting one and one that's static, that doesn't move. But I know that in here is where the feet of whoever's sitting here, the pilot who sits in the front, or technically the gunner. I always put Wild Bill in the back seat, because technically the person that sits up front is controlling all the weapons, the weapon systems operator, the WISO. They weren't called that back then, but he was definitely running the weapons, especially in the more updated versions of this helicopter. This helicopter is still in the air. It's actually now called the Viper, that the Marines use. Now, that being said, it's funny when you go and read the descriptions of this. So like number 9, Sidewinder. When you think of a Sidewinder, I think of an air-to-air Sidewinder, not an air-to-ground. So I played with it as I knew what Sidewinders were back then. It was air-to-air, because it wasn't too long after I got the Dragonfly. Then the following year, I finally got the Rattler. So I was using those Sidewinders because I didn't have a Sky Striker or anything like that. So, yep, those were air-to-air Sidewinder missiles. And now I did use number 10, which is it's also a Sidewinder HE missile. So that one I did use to, it was air to ground, because it was more of a, I don't know, I've never seen one like that before. I think it's a made up one. I've never seen anything like that in real world type of missile with a fatter head on it. So, but yeah, this is 19. You got the gun right here. I always kind of tend to forget about that gun. I don't really remember imagining that gun shooting all the time. It was also always that one. And that gun is number 19. That's an X 60 millimeter minigun. So I guess that's a smaller gun than a 25 millimeter Vulcan Gatling gun, which is this one here. Anyway, so this is the 1983 blueprint video, and these are my 1983 blueprints. So hope you enjoyed looking over these blueprints. Yeah. And these blueprints here, the Dragonflies, this is a huge blueprint. This is bigger than your 8.5 by 11, sheet of paper. I want to say the Hiss is probably about an 8.5 by 11, close to it anyway. So the Dragonfly is definitely bigger. I don't know. I can't really tell, like, if this went and got, Maybe somebody went and printed this one out because it's really crisp. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I hope not. I hope this is an authentic one. But yeah, loved the Dragonfly as a kid. And but yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Put it in the comments what you thought of it, and let me know your memories if you had any of these, and what your thoughts on how'd you play with these particular ones here. And let me know if you actually put your, like, I still to the day, I'll always put Wild Bill in the back. Because now technically, yes, both are actually able to pilot in the real world helicopter. Same thing with the Apache, but the Apache pilot, like, really, really sure that it's the back seat, because the front seat, the way they wear their helmet, that gun turns when they turn their head. So if he's operating the gun system, you got to make sure that you got the pilot sitting here flying the thing and watching everything. So that's how I always play with mine. Pilot's going to sit in the back, gunner's sitting up in the front. So anyway, 1983, Dragonfly, Hiss, Pack Rat, and Snake. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, like I said, let me know in the comments what y'all thought. Share your memories with me, and I'll share them on my next video. And just thank you again, and everyone take care. Have a fantastic week. Yo, Joe.